Protein is arguably the most important macronutrient if your goal is to look lean, healthy and muscular. Over the next 30 days, I'm going to be eating at least 200 grams of protein every single day with the goal of adding lean, healthy muscle tissue.
Yeah, buddy! Yeah, buddy! Yeah, buddy!
You see, the problem is, most people do not consume enough protein on a daily basis, giving themselves an uphill battle to not only build muscle, but actually lose body fat as well. And you don't need to have a goal of looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger to benefit from a higher protein diet. Having worked with thousands of people through a high-performance health program, I see this as probably the biggest area for improvement in general population when it comes to nutrition. Now, before starting this task, I tracked my protein at around 150 grams per day over the last 7 to 14 days. Now, my starting weight as of this morning was 163.5 pounds, so I wasn't too far off the general bro recommendation of 1 gram per pound of body weight. But I still wanted to see what a sizable increase would have in terms of impact over the next few days. My Renpho scales suggest currently that I'm around 14.7% body fat, and you'll also see my measurements and starting points on the screen right now. Calorie target for this challenge is going to be 2350 to start with 200 grams of protein. I'm not going to be focusing on carbohydrates and fat because as long as you hit the protein and the calories, those will really take care of themselves. By far and away, the easiest and most sustainable way to take on this challenge is going to be by spreading my meals out throughout the day, which we'll dive into in just a second. I'm a few days into this challenge now, and to be honest, I'm in a pretty good rhythm. I've got the plan down, I'm in a good roll, and to be honest, I'm finding it pretty enjoyable and easy to stick to. But the challenging part is just about to start. It's almost the weekend, and to me that's Friday, Saturday and Sunday in terms of food, which means it's going to be really difficult to hit the protein target and stay within my calories, because I typically will go out for a restaurant meal or go out with family or maybe order takeout or something like that on a Friday and Saturday evening. Now, I'll show you the exact steps I've used to combat this in just a second, but now let's dive into what a day of eating actually looks like to hit those 200 grams of protein. Monday morning is a running day for us, so I usually have a slightly quick and convenient breakfast just to get some fuel in before we go run, nothing too heavy. So today I started with some raspberries and 1 Grenade protein bar. That was at around 7:30 a.m, which is probably about an hour or so before we went a run. Just making breakfast just now, which I'll show you in a second, which is going to be my first main meal of the day. If you've watched this channel at all, then you know exactly what my first meal of the day is, and that is going to be some chicken hex sausages with some pineapple. Huge fan of this, gets me about 35 grams of protein for the 5 chicken sausages, and I love some fruit in the morning. I'm more a fan of just eating meat and fruit for the most part in terms of my protein and my carbs, than using maybe things like oats or pastas or rice, etc. to sort of fill in the gaps. I tend to feel better on that, so that's where a good part of my focus is going at the moment. My lunch is going to be a really simple and easy to put together wrap. I have some cooked chicken here that I already prepped up ahead of time. I'm just going to have that in a wrap with some shredded lettuce along with some sweet chilli and some mayo. Great way to get 30 to 40 grams of protein in, but a really simple, easy, convenient, high protein lunch. My afternoon snack is always going to be some form of combination of this. So today I've got like a chocolate Greek yogurt along with a blueberry one. These will net me like 35 grams of protein between them, along with 30 grams of nuts, pushing this up to around 40 grams. It takes zero time, zero effort to prepare. I can just sit, continue to work in between calls when I have 5 minutes. If I want something different, just change up the flavors, change up the options. You can find literally dozens upon dozens of different options of these in combinations to suit your own likes. This is my main dinner meal of the evening, so we've got some salmon here, some sourdough bread, a little bit of olive oil and balsamic, and some salad as well. Good quality amount of protein in here, about 30 grams in the salmon. You're probably wondering why I'm eating foods like this, like bread and olive oil. Like, is this unhealthy? Not particularly. Olive oil is a fantastic source of fat, but you do need to weigh it out. Just this little dish here has got more than 100 calories in it.
Oh my Christ!
But I've factored into that overall content for the day. This is my final meal of the night, getting me a whopping 50 grams of protein. I'm going to put 2 scoops in here, just have that with some water, and that will top out my protein for the day, get me about 50 grams and hit that magic 200 gram target.
It's Friday, which means it's a day where in the evening I eat probably a less micronutrient dense meal or an unhealthier meal. So my focus during the day is on 3 things: protein, fruit and vegetables. That's it. And I highly advise taking the same approach with yourself if you have a heavier meal planned, or if you have maybe a client engagement or a business dinner to go to in the evening. If you focus on just getting high quality protein sources, some fruit or some veg at every other meal of the day, then you'll keep your calories under control, you get enough quality protein, and that won't offset your progress. So meal number 1 is 5 hex sausages for me, which will get about 35 grams of protein with some fruit. So lunch meal is pretty simple for me. I've got 8 ounces of a protein source here, which is fillet steak. I've got some salad, which I have eaten some of, and I've got some raspberries here as well. That's it for my lunch, going to get me about 40 grams of protein, and I am good to go for meal number 2. This is my next meal of the day, if you like. This is just a double protein shake. So in here I have 2 scoops of protein with some water, and that's going to get me about 50 to 55 grams of protein. So for the day so far, I'm around 140 with the steak, the shake, and my hex in the morning. So I'm almost at the sort of 200 mark, just one final meal, but this keeps my calories low enough for me to have a free meal, if you like, in the evening time.
Domino.
So this is my final meal of the evening. As you can see, it is no holds barred. I'm having a Domino's. I've got half a pizza here, some chicken nuggets and some bites. We are splitting these, but ultimately I made room for this. So I budgeted high protein, high fibre, high micronutrient dense foods in the first part of the day. Now I just have something that's a bit more calorie dense. I do this once or twice a week. I'll go out for a meal, we'll have some takeaway like this. Ultimately, this is how I find the lifestyle sustainable. By giving myself this little bit of flexibility and freedom, but I still hit my 200 grams a day in terms of protein, because this is probably going to easily get me 40 to 50 grams by the time I have the chicken and the pizza, and I'll be set for my targets for the day. So my measurements for the challenge come in at this. My starting waist was 81 centimetres. My 30 days later was 81.3. My biceps, 38 and 37.5 to start, followed by 38.2 and 37.7. So some slight increases there as well. Chest up from 107.8 to 108.3, so like half a centimetre increase, which is quite substantial. And then legs up slightly, so 58.5 to 58.6, and then 57.7 up to 58. So some pretty good changes. I'm happy with it, so I think this has been a very successful trial that I'll be continuing to eat moving forward. You know what eating 200 grams of protein a day actually does to your body now. If you'd like to know what eating 10,000 calories per day does to your body, go and check out this video. I've done it off to the side.